Dear fellow movie lovers. Today's recap is the Meg. Would the heroic diver be able to save the day by defeating the 75-foot shark? The largest marine predator to ever exist is encountered by a team of scientists as they explore the Marianas Trench. The Meg is a shark versus human film that doesn't hold up to scrutiny but is still one of the most entertaining and mindless blockbusters of the summer. An enormous creature attacks a deep-sea submersible, crippling it and trapping the crew at the bottom of the Pacific. An oceanographer hires rescue diver Jonas Taylor to protect the crew and the ocean itself from an unimaginable threat. Nobody could have imagined Taylor running into this terrifying creature before. Together with Suyin, he must now face his fears and put his life in danger to save everyone trapped below, putting him once more in the path of the biggest and deadliest predator in history. In the opening scene, professional diver Jonas Taylor attempts to save a group of divers from a submerged submarine. Some of them, including Dr. Heller, are successfully boarded by Jonas, but the sub begins to be violently attacked. Taylor was assigned to rescue those members, and by doing so he was putting his life in great danger. Taylor is forced to leave the damaged sub because he realizes that trying to rescue two of his crew would mean that everyone he has already saved will perish. They manage to flee just before the invisible force obliterates the submarine and vanishes. 5 years later, off the coast of China, at Mana 1, a facility for underwater research, Suyin, Dr. Minwei Zhang's daughter, DJ, Jax heard the aforementioned Dr. Haller, Mac, Celeste, Toshi, and the Wall are in charge of running it. It is run by a team of scientists led by Jack Morris and Dr. Minwei Zhang. They are experimenting close to the ocean floor by bypassing mysterious hydrogen, using a small submarine piloted by Celeste, Tosh, and the Wall, and exploring what lies beneath. At first, everything appears to be fine, but the group is attacked and stranded by a large, swift object, breaking their connection with Mana 1. Off the coast of China, at Mana 1, a facility for underwater research. Later, when they attempt to restore power, they are attacked once more, and Celeste is hurt when a screwdriver is rammed into her stomach. After much deliberation, the rest of the crew decides to follow Mac's advice and ask Jonas for assistance in rescuing their trapped friends because of his prior success in doing so in such a deep, perilous area of the ocean. Heller, on the other hand, is opposed to it because he believes Jonas is insane as a result of the terrifying event he went through 5 years ago and doesn't buy into his claims that a creature attacked him and the divers he was trying to save. In any case, the plan is carried out. Unfortunately, Jonas has seen better days as he is frequently seen intoxicated in a Taiwanese bar yelling at local boat owners who keep relying on him to fix their vessels. Jonas is met by Mac and Dr. Zhang in his room. At first, Jonas tries to get out of it by offering the two drinks and deflecting any advances toward payment. However, he ultimately decides to accompany and assist. Soon after Jonas arrives, Suyin attempts to use a mini-sub to descend and rescue the trapped crew herself. A huge squid attacks Suyin as she is getting ready to tow the stuck sub back to the surface. The squid is quickly dispatched by the perpetrator of the prior attack, a 75-foot-long prehistoric shark known as a Megalodon, before it appears as though her submarine will sustain damage. This shark is the same one that nearly killed Jonas 5 years ago, demonstrating his sanity. Suyin can escape back to the surface after Jonas briefly diverts the shark's attention with some flair. He is able to load Celeste and the Wall into his car. Toshi sacrifices himself to allow the others to flee when the shark returns for another attack while tucking a farewell letter he had been composing for his wife earlier into the Wall's pocket. Toshi is killed when the shark rams the second sub that has gone down, but everyone else escapes unharmed. Later, Heller apologizes to Jonas for not taking him at his word. Although the sub has been destroyed, a temporary pocket of heat has vented upward, allowing the shark to move to more typical ocean waters, but the situation is still not over. Mei Ying is playing with an RC ball through the hallways as Jonas tries to flee and everyone else converses, but she is startled by the shark's sudden appearance. The shark kills a whale before giving up on trying to breach the hull. The group ultimately decides to use a small boat to track the shark and poison it to death. By using Jonas to shoot the tracker onto the shark's fin and then reel him back in, they initially succeed in tracking the animal. However, they narrowly avoided being eaten by the shark. Suyin then descends into a plastic tank to poison the shark while the others entice it with chum. This results in an intense encounter where the shark attempts to swallow the cage with her inside of it whole. Although she is successful in poisoning the shark, her mask malfunctions and she almost drowns. They nearly get eaten by the shark when Jonas dives in after her. Thankfully, the poison takes effect and the shark perishes. Suyin is brought back aboard by Jonas, and they perform resuscitation on her. Prior to the shark falling into the water as a result of a joke from the DJ, the crew initially celebrates by taking pictures of the wall with the shark's corpse. The shark's teeth, however, are noticeably smaller than the ones from earlier, according to Jonas. This is a younger, smaller Megalodon that they killed. Suddenly, the other, larger shark from before shows up, gulping down the wall, and using its teeth to drag the other Meg's body off the boat. As a result, Dr. Zhang suffers serious injuries as a result of the boat capsizing. The shark returns to try to eat Jax, but Heller sacrifices himself by diverting the shark's attention to him. As a result, he is devoured. Morris requests a support helicopter to shoot at the shark, successfully chasing it away, and the remaining crew members escape in motorboats. However, Dr. Zhang gives his daughter some tearful final words of pride before passing away in the boat from his wounds. Later that evening, Morris informs the crew that Mana 1 is being shut down and that authorities from several Asian nations have been contacted to deal with the shark. In reality, he called in some minor military assistance to try and kill the shark on his own using depth charges dropped from the helicopter. It turns out that he was lying through his teeth. He goes out on a boat with a few other people, and it initially seems to work, but it turns out that they accidentally killed a whale by blowing it up, which attracted some local regular sharks, and later the Meg, who scares them away, to feast on its corpse. Morris is thrown from the evacuating boat and tries to climb the dead whale, but the shark swallows him whole. The crew learns that the shark is on its way to a popular beach in China and decides to use whale noise recordings to entice the shark away from the beach before torpedoing it with the mini-subs. Before briefly terrorizing the locals at the beach, the shark first attacks a nearby Chinese wedding party on another boat and appears to eat the bride's dog, Pippin. When it hears whale noises and eats the bait, it halts its attack. This starts a fierce chase between Jonas and the shark as he guides it to Suyin, who torpedoes it but to no avail. The fact that Jonas' torpedo won't launch is even worse. When several news helicopters attempt to film the fight, they foolishly collide with one another, and the resulting wreckage crashes onto the team's boat, forcing everyone into the water. Suyin moves to assist the others, and Jonas engages the shark head-on while desperately trying to protect everyone, slicing open the shark's underbelly with the sub. When the shark tries to maul it, he gets out of the sub and stabs it in the eye, killing it. 12 common sharks move in to finish it off and devour it alive, putting an end to the danger. Unfortunately, the wrong ocean carnivore was killed. Following the failure of a helicopter-launched grenade attack, it is up to our hero Jonas to save a crowded Chinese beach by bursting out of his damaged submersible. Everyone reassembles on the wedding couple's boat after the threat has passed, including Pippin the dog, who turned out to have survived. The human characters in the film offer hope for a sequel even though the movie's enormous titular shark is ultimately vanquished almost poetically with the aid of a swarm of its contemporary offspring. Jonas Taylor and oceanographer Suyin Zhang, played by Jason Statham and Li Bingbing, everyone is seen celebrating their victory at the film's conclusion, and the oceans are now secure. This was today's recap already. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell.